Take this with like a whole pound of salt. I'm just reading this article from Fox News, so I wouldn't trust anything that they say. This is like just literally kind of like tabloid stuff. Any of this Fox News, CNN, it's really just tabloid type shit. But this is an interesting headline. So let's talk about this and we can extrapolate our conversation, our topic, because most of you are going to agree with this, but it's interesting to hear what's going on. A lot of this shit lately with nutrition and with fast food seems to be happening in the UK. Seems to be happening overseas. So you guys can drop in the comments what you think about that. But here is a new article. Mom allegedly fed fast food to obese teen dying in hospital. Mother allegedly fed fast food to obese teen dying in hospital. So let's go through this for a hot minute because we know fast food's shit. And I keep on saying how fast food is absolute fucking shit. But this is kind of like atrocious. And it's really child abuse. I feel like if a parent is feeding, I know some of you have taken your kids to McDonald's or Burger King. I'm not saying you're a terrible parent. You're abusing your child. You still get to make it's your choice. It's your child. I don't think you should be feeding your child that. But a lot of people do. But to this extent, this is fucking child abuse. This is ridiculous. So let's read through this. United Kingdom mother who purportedly called her obese child a quote donut and prevented the teen from participating in physical activities allegedly continued to provide fast food to him or her as the child was dying in the hospital, according to a report. The Manchester Safeguarding Board, quote, a statutory body made up of organizations that work together to safeguard and promote the welfare of adults, children, young people, and their families, reviewed the child's death, which occurred in 2015, and concluded its report last year. However, the case's details have only recently come to light. So this is a couple years old, but this is a recent release because legal documents and stuff sometimes aren't obviously released right away for whatever reason, privacy issues and stuff like that. The teen, who was not identified in the report, died at the age of 13 from a heart condition. The child reportedly ate 2,000 calories each day before lunch, and weighed roughly 66 pounds at 3 years old. Any of you have kids? 66 pounds at 3 years old? What in the God-naming fuck? Prior to his or her death, I guess that's kept a secret, the teen from Greater Manchester reportedly enjoyed taking part in physical education lessons and other activities at school, but was prevented from participating by the mother, who allegedly told teachers her child was, quote, too sick to do so, reported Yahoo News UK, citing the case review. On occasion, the teen would take part in physical activity at school. The student reportedly asked teachers not to tell his or her mother. The school found it difficult to challenge the mother about putting obstacles in the way of the teenager from taking part in something they enjoyed and which was beneficial for their well-being. In 2015, the teen was hospitalized with a heart condition, which weight, quote, contributed to. Yeah, no shit. In his or her final weeks of life, the mother continued to provide fast food to her child in the hospital. The Manchester police allegedly looked into the case, but the mother was not charged. The Manchester Safeguarding Board did not immediately return Fox News' request for comment. So whether or not this is literal, everything is reported. This is like reported. Obviously, they couldn't get feedback from this. I'm surprised the woman wasn't charged, but that's fucking child abuse. If you're going to feed your child 2,000 calories a day, not let them exercise, and then feed them fast food in the hospital, this is not the only incident. This is one of those that actually had a court case. This is one of these that got some traction. Think about how much this actually happens in real life. How many parents are feeding their kids way too many calories, junk food, and then just like discouraging exercise because they don't, or because they don't find it's important, or because they're psychologically fucked in the head. That's really fucked up. That's really fucked up. The fact that a young child died, period, and the fact that the mother potentially kept them from doing physical activity because they were too sick because of all the food they were pumping into them. I wonder what the health situation of the mother was. That sounds pretty actionable to me. That sounds like hardcore child abuse. I mean, I don't know. Honestly, I don't know what a healthy weight for a 3-year-old is. I really don't. I'm sure it depends on the height like anything else. But 66 pounds, that's heavy as fuck for a 3-year-old. I don't know what the proper range is, but I do know like 66 pounds, that's a big human being at 3 years old. So who knows what the fuck they were feeding the child. Like liquid calories? How are you getting a 3-year-old to eat that many calories? It's got to be real concentrated. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know if the mother was obese. The article didn't say, but I saw that pop up and it's like, shouldn't parents take a child nutrition class if they want to have a kid? Well, you see how this all starts? This all starts like with the child. Children aren't taught by their parents because parents aren't taught proper nutrition. So you have parents that don't know about nutrition, not teaching their kids, and the kids are going to school eating garbage foods. It's like a vicious cycle. So when you're getting advertising for fast food as a parent, you're passing that information on to the kid and you're taking them there. The kid thinks it's okay to eat this shit. They're going to grow up eating this shit, and then their child is going to eat that shit, and it just compounds. And that's why it has to start in the family unit. That's why it has to start with podcasts like this, because you're not going to find out, you're not going to really hear about this. This is not going to get traction. This is not going to get real traction in the news. This is like a side article on Fox News just to kind of get you to click. But this is not going to make front page shit. This is not going to really make waves. It looks like tabloid stuff and it sounds like it, but it's reality. This is happening so many places, it just doesn't make the news. People are eating. How many times do you see someone who's just really morbidly obese eating fast food? Like, you're already there. You don't need to add to that. It makes it worse. It's really bad. It's really bad. It's abuse. It's abuse to not give your child real fucking food. I agree with that. I think a lot of people are shamed for having kids. Look, you have fit shaming. You have fit shaming. You have fit shaming. You have child shaming. There's so much stuff out there. There's so much. Everyone's got shaming, and feeling shame is internal. There's no reason why you should feel bad for not having kids. There's no reason why people should have kids. Just because the species needs to perpetuate doesn't mean you have to be a part of it. You don't have to add to the gene pool. Now, I appreciate anyone that's like, oh, you should have kids. I appreciate that. I mean, part of me is like, cool. I mean, I could have kids. I know I would be a good dad. I mean, I would do the best I can, just like all of you. And there's nothing wrong with you having kids. I talk shit because, look, I have perspective that people that have kids don't have anymore. Now, when you have kids, you remember what you thought before you had kids. But once you have children, your whole brain shifts and you can't have perspective anymore. You can't go back in the past. So I think it's more important that we have these conversations, with people that are in that perspective. Like, I don't have children, so I still have that mindset. I still have that objective vision and view of it. Doesn't mean that I won't, and doesn't mean that you should or should not have had kids. Because if you do, you do. And that's the thing. Once you have kids, it doesn't mean that you wish you didn't have them, because you're going to love the fuck out of them. And you're like, oh man, I can't imagine my life without my kids. Of course you can't, because now you have them. You wouldn't give them up. That's ridiculous. I'm not saying you should like regret it, but I think some people do. And I think a lot of people are in denial about it and shut off that concept in that part of their brain and don't even address those thoughts, because what are you going to do? You can't go back in time. So you have to love your child and just fucking deal with it. But it's a lot of work. And I think a lot of people just walk into that type of responsibility, especially today. It's not something that has to happen like it used to. So in the past, you were having children to create workers. You were going to the factory. You needed to have 10 children because only 3 would survive. And you wanted sons, right? You wanted sons to work on the farm. That's what you needed to have happen. So you had a lot of kids because half of them would die. And then you would have, helpers on the farm. They would grow up and they would carry on the family farm and the family name, and you'd have your lineage and your bloodline. But now, since things are so different, we don't need people to work on a farm. You don't need that same type of approach to a family unit. So it's different than it used to be. And I think it's also okay to address that too. But at the same time, we're still programmed to fuck more than ever. So the fucking hasn't stopped. So the breeding hasn't stopped. And thus we are overpopulated for what we need as a society now. In the past, it was more necessary. Because if you had 1,000 kids, 500 died. It's like, all right, it was a numbers game, but now everyone survives, which is not a bad thing, but we just don't need as many kids because we're not fucking any less. So the number's just increasing. Anytime you talk about not having kids and you're like, no, we have too many kids, we have too many people, population, it just sounds like It just sounds like some kind of like fucking like racist, like we have to stop reproducing. Like I'm trying to cleanse the earth or something like that, which is not the case. It sounds like some fucking kind of like Hitler shit, but it's not. It's just a fact. We don't need to have as many kids. We don't need to have as many children. Who needs 6 fucking kids? Who needs 5 kids? Who needs 4 children? Unless you have sex and you accidentally have like quadruplets or something, like, holy shit, that was an accident. Let me stick with that. People are just pumping out singles like crazy. Why do you need 4, 5, 6 fucking kids? Like, stop fucking. Stop fucking. You know, they make things for that. Thanks for watching, fam. Make sure to subscribe to the Daily Swole podcast on YouTube so you can catch the live streams every single day.